What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rant, no hate show. Salute to Daniel Dubois. He went in there and did what he had to do. Um, I salute Trevor Bryan for going there, trying to do what he had to do. Um, I knew that he was talking more than what his capabilities were in the ring. Daniel Dubois got it done in four. Um, it was funny because the angle that he landed that left hook, it didn't look like anything happened. Like when it first happened, I'm like, what the hell just happened? I just seen like Daniel Dubois lean forward, and I just saw, Trevor Bryan go down. I'm like, whoa, what did I missed this? What did I just miss? Until I saw the replay, and then I watched it like several times. Okay, and I never could get a different angle other than just the back shot, but you could see his head like he got rocked, um, and he went down. Daniel Dubois did what he had to. Um, like I said, Trevor Bryant, I guess, he felt like he needed to do all of that because he's a guy who was holding the title and nobody was talking about him other than just somebody coming to take the title off his hands because nobody believed in him. And we know he got it from a washed up over the hill Berman Stavern, who was decent at best. But at the end of the day, Daniel Dubois, it's his second fight, second win since losing to Joe Joyce. Now, a lot of people were saying he needs to go and fight Joe Joyce and avenge that loss. Cool. That's something that's doable. Should be doable. Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't want to, you know. But when people are saying that, they don't believe in Joe Joyce. Like he basically said that he wants Dillian Whyte next. So for people that say he need to go fight Joe Joyce, they're basically saying he's not ready for Dillian. He needs to go and avenge that loss. Now, if he goes in there and he beats Joe Joyce the way he's supposed to, that's what they're basically saying, then maybe he had a chance of beating Dillian. Let me say this though, okay? That's bullshit. First off, that fight with Joe Joyce was a close fight. He was in that fight. There was no domination. It was just that he couldn't get away with that jab. And that jab was the factor, okay? Because even with all that pressure, if he didn't work behind that jab, he would have been giving Dubois even more clean looks. So basically, Joe Joyce came out on top. And, let's just say, for example, if the fight would have continued. We don't see people always want to say that because they're like, but if it would have continued, he'd have got knocked out. Maybe he would have knocked Joe Joyce out finally. Who knows? We don't know what would have happened. We can assume. But at the end of the day, we don't have to assume. We don't have to use our imaginations because we got an outcome. So if the fight did go on, and I'm saying that in response to people that was making these comments about what would have happened. The guy had serious nerve damage, man. He knew, like he said, something felt wrong. And, he saved his eye, okay? Lived to fight another day. No need to go blind, man, because you worried about people's opinions. Okay. Dean Whyte said it was disrespectful because he feels like Daniel Dubois is a good fighter. He like him as a person, but he's not ready for Dillian Whyte. And I'm going to say it again. I think that's bullshit as well because even if Whyte is more polished, we don't know, man. I don't know. And I'm looking at Dillian Whyte against Fury. People got this whole thing like Fury's in God mode or something. Like, no, I'm watching him and how he had no answers for anything. He didn't show a smart ring IQ. He basically, the only thing he did was just, did a little high step jog in front of him, shit, like he's trying to cut him off and then stand there and wait. And throw one long, hard, looping, wild shot, leaving himself wide open. Basically, if Fury would have been in knockout mode in his mind, he might have knocked him out sooner than 6 rounds because he was throwing wild shots, leaving himself open every time he would wing those shots. He didn't show much of anything in that fight. And just because Fury says, he's strong and he's dangerous for any other fighter, I'm not saying that he's completely washed up, but I'm saying this. Daniel Dubois can punch. Daniel Dubois crack him with an uppercut. We know Dylan's not getting back up. So I think, even if Dean Whyte feels like he doesn't think he's ready, okay, he can't possibly think that Daniel Dubois is supposed to feel that way. So I applaud Daniel Dubois for calling out Dillian Whyte. I don't see that as disrespectful. How's it disrespectful? So and basically, if anybody's being disrespectful in that situation, it's Dean Whyte, because that's what he's saying. Kid, you're not ready. You go out and fight some lesser fighters and then prove yourself with them first, kid. That's what you do. No, at the same time, remember, at the end of the Povetkin rematch, and Dillian was saying, I should go take some easy fights, man. I've been fighting all these tough guys, earn my shot. Maybe I should go fight Trevor Bryan for his belt. Okay, well, Dillian, Triple D just did that, and he took his belt. So guess what? He has a title. Dillian Whyte should be happy for that if that's the case. Okay, cool. Daniel Dubois want to get it going. Let's go. So, I don't agree with that whole, it's disrespectful. How is it disrespectful? There's a fighter who wants to fight. And it's obvious his confidence is there, because imagine if Daniel Dubois would have said, well, I want to move slower. Maybe I'll fight like Helenius or F.A. or somebody like that. Let me see if I can get Dominic Brazil to come back or something. Because that's the names that, Kalnaki. Those are the names that Dean Whyte brought up. And we know that those guys are on the outer skirts of the top guys. So why would he have to feel like he need to go fight Charles Martin or Kalnaki or any of those guys, or Luis Ortiz? He called out Dillian. So now if that fight actually materializes and then he knocks out Dillian Whyte, then Dean got to eat his words, right? This is what the fight game needs, man. So why say that this kid isn't ready? He's only 24 years old. So what? So what? He thinks he's ready right now? Let's see. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Now, one thing I will say, there was a couple of times in the fight where I saw Daniel Dubois kind of, moving his head a little bit from side to side. But for the most part, he was still coming in a straight line. He didn't show any footwork, anything different. Like he looked like the same fighter, to be honest with you. But at the same time, Joe Joyce and Dillian Whyte are two completely different fighters. And at the same time, let's say Joe Joyce and Dillian Whyte is fighting, right? And let's just say Dillian Whyte is his head on the scorecards. Joe Joyce's stamina has proven to be probably the best amongst all the heavyweights. Joe Joyce is very possible that even if he was behind on the scorecards, he could walk Dillian Whyte down, wear him out, and wind up getting him out of there. It's very possible that could happen. So just because Joe Joyce beat Dubois, and you guys are saying that, he got to go beat him and prove that he deserves a shot at Dillian. Dillian don't have a title. Dillian has no title, but Daniel Dubois does. So who's giving who a shot? And who's to say, like I said, that Joe Joyce wouldn't beat Dillian Whyte? So I like the fight. And he put that challenge out there. If Dillian Whyte accepts that fight, I would love to see that. Because you got two guys that's going to go in there and go for the knockout. And you know what? I don't care if he's 24 and Dillian's 32, whatever. That's all good. I would like to see that fight. And if he beats Dillian, I mean, if he beats Dillian, looking at the heavyweight landscape, he still could fight a guy like Helenius. Yeah, it would be considered a step back, right? But he still could fight a guy like Kalnaki or F.A. He has a title. So, at least now that title is on the way to somebody that at least people are going to talk about it. Nobody was talking about it when Trevor Bryan had it. And if Dillian Whyte is confident that, okay, I lost to Fury, but I'm still here. I ain't going nowhere. Fury was the better man. I'll fight Daniel Dubois, and I'll beat him. Why not take the fight then, right? I'm definitely down for that. But anyway, salute both guys. And, basically, I'm glad Daniel Dubois did what he had to do, man. Like, not for my personal interest, just looking at it, from somebody who loves the sport from the outside. Just sitting from the outside looking and watching all that shit. I'm knowing if he would have went in there And it took him all night to get this guy out of here. That wouldn't have been a good look, because Trevor Bryan is really not a good fighter. Larry Holmes is disappointed because he said he didn't do nothing that he trained to do. And, you know, he himself, after talking all that shit, bringing tampons on the stage and calling Dillian Whyte, Danny Dubois pussy and all that, and talking all that shit, what they consider entertainment now, and dancing and all that. All that bravado shit that he needed to do, that he felt he needed to do. I'm glad that for Dubois that he went there and did what he had to. And that shows you, you know, we know the power didn't go anywhere, but that goes to show you that, you know, I can't really say he's improved a lot, you know, but he's, as far as I'm concerned, he was always good enough to beat Trevor Bryan, you know. But again, when a fighter is saying, I should have been doing this and that, and, you know, I didn't do what I was supposed to, you know, again, people, you didn't do those things that you would like to have done because your opponent wouldn't let you. Something about them had you scared, whether it was their punching power, their timing, their speed, or all of it. Whatever it may be, you were skeptical and you couldn't. Your heart wouldn't let you because you was worried about the receipt. Just as simple as that, man. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And I will catch y'all on the next video.